Good morning, students. Today we will continue with the female reproductive system, accessory glands. So, female reproductive system. So, in this, the accessory glands which are support to the female reproductive system, that means the function of the reproductive system and other functions till lactation process. And here there are three types of, so basically there are two types, but again one type it is divided into two types of glands. So there are totally three different types of glands are present, and all are the paired glands. So among that, the first one is greater vestibular glands. Greater vestibular glands, and these are also known as Bartholin glands. So this is the one type of vestibular glands. These greater vestibular glands are located the posterior to the vaginal orifice. So the vaginal orifice which is opens into the uvula, at that junction the vestibule, a part is known as vestibule is present. So this vaginal orifice and this is the vaginal orifice, that means the opening of the vagina. So these Bartholin's glands are located, these are the paired structures, and these glands are located to the posterior side. So half of the gland is located back side to the vaginal orifice. So here on this, the Bartholin glands are located. So these are located posterior and right and left sides of the vaginal orifice. So posterior to the vaginal orifice. And the function of these Bartholin glands is it secretes mucus. It secretes mucus, and as a mucus secretion, the Bartholin glands lubricates the vagina. So the function of this is the lubricate. It lubricates the vagina. So these Bartholin glands are homologous to, that means the structurally and functionally, these Bartholin glands are similar to that of the male bulbourethral glands. So these are homologous to the bulbourethral glands of males. So this is the function and about the greater vestibular glands or Bartholin's glands. So these are the female accessory glands, female reproductive accessory glands, and these are located posterior to the vaginal orifice, and it secretes mucus, and due to the presence of this mucus it lubricates the vagina, and these structures homologous to the bulbourethral glands of the males. So this, and the next type of gland is, the location is just opposite to the greater vestibular glands. So that means these are the anterior and beneath the, so here there is a pair of lower vestibular glands are present. So the next type of glands are lower vestibular glands. So these lower vestibular glands are located just opposite side to the greater vestibular glands, and these are also known as Skin's glands. And located in the anterior to the anterior lower side of the vaginal orifice. So located anterior lower side of the vaginal orifice, and the function of these Skin's glands is also as the Bartholin glands, that is, it also secretes mucus, but the difference is it secretes mucus only on the stimulation, but the Bartholin glands are always, they are secreting the mucus and they are lubricating the vagina, but these Skin's glands only on stimulation, only on stimulation. They secrete mucus and they lubricate the vagina during copulation. So for easy passage of the penis and the semen, so it lubricates the vagina and it secretes mucus only on the stimulation. The function is same, it lubricates vagina during copulation. And this gland is homologous to prostate gland. Prostate gland of the male. Then the prostate gland also secretes some mucus-like fluid substance, and these Skin's glands also produce secrete mucus on stimulation. Prostate glands also on the stimulation it secretes some fluid-like substance which is again as a mucus. So that's why it is said to be that the Skin's glands are homologous to the prostate gland of the male. So but the difference is the Skin's glands are paired structures, but prostate gland is a single structure. So this is the lower vestibular glands or Skin's glands, which are located anterior lower side of the vaginal orifice, and it secretes mucus on the stimulation. It lubricates vagina during copulation, and this structure is homologous to the prostate gland of the males. So the third type of accessory glands are mammary glands. Mammary glands, or commonly these are known as breast. And these mammary glands are the paired structures. These are the paired glands, and the characteristic feature of female mammals. So the functional mammary glands. The males also contains mammary glands, but they are non-functional or vestigial organs in the males. But in females, these mammary glands are the functional. So functional mammary glands in females. So it is a characteristic feature of the female mammals, and these are the modified sweat glands. So how the mammary glands are formed is these structures. The paired mammary glands are modified sweat glands. Modified sweat glands, and they developed during puberty. So they starts to develop at the puberty stage of the girls, and they start secrete milk at the during gestation period and during lactation period. So they start secrete milk during gestation and lactation. So actually at the gestation itself, the secretion of milk is started, but that milk is stored within the mammary glands, and during lactation the milk is ejected by the baby. So that, but the development starts during puberty stage. So when the menstrual cycle starts, so during that period onwards, the development of mammary glands takes place, and they start secrete milk during gestation, and the ejection of milk takes place during lactation period when the baby is fed with milk. And if you see the structures of this each mammary gland, the structurally it is very complex and consists of so many lobules in it. Structure of mammary glands, if you will see, it is a bulged structure right and left side. So there is a bulged structure of the mammary gland, and at the anterior of the mammary glands, so there is a erectile structure which is known as nipple. And inside the mammary gland, so when we see the internal structure of the mammary glands, so just posterior to the nipple there is a pink colored structure and which is known as areola. Areolar tissue is present just posterior or just back side to the nipple. And here is there are so many nearly 15 to 120 lobules are present. It is according to the size of the mammary glands. So there are 15 to 120 small gland like clusters of the cells are present, so which are known as lactiferous glands. So there are so many, a number of clusters of cells or glands, small glands are present inside the mammary glands, and these are known as, each one is known as lactiferous gland. So this is known as lactiferous glands. And number of lactiferous glands, so they are formed, and these ducts, so ducts of the lactiferous glands unite to form a bulged structure within the areolar tissue. So these bulged structures, when they opens here, they forms the bulged structures, and these bulged structures are known as ampulla. Ampulla. So, if you see that number of lactiferous glands, ducts, so they ducts, these are the small ducts, so they unite, the small ducts they unite to form a large duct like structure, or the sac-like structures, which is a bulged structure, and this bulged structure is known as ampulla. And this ampulla, again they form the small ducts, again they unite to form a number of small ducts. So these are, again they unite to form the ducts, and these ducts are known as lactiferous ducts. So these ampulla are opens into the lactiferous ducts. Lactiferous ducts. And these lactiferous ducts are opens out through a common nipple. So here is again a small aperture is present, and these all lactiferous ducts are opens out through the nipple. So finally we can say that the baby is sucked out the milk by the lactiferous ducts. So it is very important. In most of the competitive exams they ask by which duct the milk is sucked out by the baby. So that is by the lactiferous ducts. So actually lactiferous glands, they unite to form ampulla, and again ampulla are opens into the very small minute tube-like structures which are known as lactiferous ducts, and these lactiferous ducts opens out and through which the milk is sucked out. And when we come to these structures again, so these are in between these lactiferous glands. So there is a fatty tissue is present. So here, and inside this the spaces inside the lactiferous glands are known as alveoli. Alveoli. So inside the lactiferous glands, the cavities are present, and these cavities are known as alveoli. And in between the lactiferous glands, so there is a fatty substance is present. So different amount of fat is deposited inside the mammary glands. So that in between the lactiferous glands. So here this is all the fatty substance. So during gestation period, due to the secretions of the hormones like prolactin or progesterone and all, so they start secreting milk. So these lactiferous glands starts the secretion of milk, and that milk is stored inside the alveoli. So what is the secreted by the lactiferous glands? So that is the milk, and that milk is stored inside the alveoli. So these sac-like structures which are present inside the lactiferous glands. So in that alveoli, the secreted milk is stored till lactation. So once the lactation period starts, so when the lactation starts, immediately after the paturation. So these during the paturation or immediately after the paturation, the milk is sucked out by the baby, newborn baby, and that process is known as lactation, by which the baby is feeding with milk. So it is known as lactation. So during that lactation, this stored milk is sucked out through the lactiferous ducts. So this is about mammary glands. So there is a pair of functional mammary glands are present, and which is a characteristic feature of the female mammals. And these are the modified sweat glands, and this starts development at the puberty stage when the menstrual cycle starts, and they start secretion of milk during pregnancy or during gestation period and during lactation period. And there is a small glandular or saccular structures which are known as lactiferous glands, and these lactiferous glands opens into ampulla, and these ampulla join together and finally forms a small duct-like structures called lactiferous ducts through which milk is sucked out. And the fat is deposition, the amount of fat is different in the different individuals, and during lactation, so the milk is sucked out, and during gestation period the secreted milk is stored in the alveoli. So this is about the female reproductive accessory glands. So there are three types of glands. One is greater vestibular glands or Bartholin glands, lower vestibular glands are the Skene's glands, and mammary glands are breast. The next topic we will discuss in this section is gametogenesis. So this is all about how the structures involved in the male reproductive system as well as female reproductive system. So the male reproductive system, that all the parts which are involved in the male and female reproductive system, they are enhances, their main function is they enhances the reproduction process by the formation of gametes and fertilization, so post fertilization events and all. So in this process, first we will see pre-fertilization events, so that is gametogenesis. So this gametogenesis is a very important event in the sexual reproduction of the individuals. So what is the gametogenesis? Means the formation of haploid gametes, from the diploid germ cells. So there are two types of cells in the body of every individual, even in both males and females. One is somatic cells and another one is germ cells. So the somatic cells always they undergo the mitotic divisions only. So that is no confusion in that. But the germ cells, so and we know that the human beings are the diploid organisms. Every cell contains the two sets of chromosomes. So here also the germ cells are the diploid cells, and these germ cells undergo the meiotic cell divisions to produce haploid gametes. So these gametes are haploid, and that process of formation of haploid gametes from the diploid germ cells is known as gametogenesis. And due to the gametogenesis, as a result of gametogenesis, the sperms are produced in males from the testis. So that is from the male primary sex organs in males, and ovum, or it is also known as egg. It is produced from or formed from the ovaries in females. So gametogenesis is of two types. One is production of the sperms from the testis in males, and the second type is production of ovum or egg from the ovaries, so which are female primary sex organs in females. And the process of formation of sperms in males is known as spermatogenesis. So it is known as spermatogenesis. The formation of sperms from the testis in males is known as spermatogenesis, and formation of ovum from the ovaries in females is known as oogenesis. Oogenesis. So the gametogenesis is of two types, both in males and females. It is a different process. And in males, the formation of sperms is known as spermatogenesis, and the formation of ovum in females is known as oogenesis. So now we will discuss the spermatogenesis in males. Spermatogenesis. It is the formation of sperms. Formation of sperms from the spermatogonial mother cells or spermatogonial germ cells. From spermatogonial germ cells, or these are also known as spermatogonial mother cells. So from this, these are the diploid spermatogonial mother cells. They undergoes first mitotic division, then later on the meiotic divisions takes place, from which the sperms are formed, and this process is known as the spermatogenesis. And this spermatogenesis starts at the age of 13 to 14 years in boys. So that means when the puberty begins, so then there starts to formation of the sperms. So at the puberty stage onwards till death of the individual, then the spermatogenesis process continues. And it involves the spermatogenesis process in males involves or takes place in 4 different stages. So what are the 4 different stages is? The first one is multiplication phase. multiplication phase, and the second phase is known as growth phase. Growth phase, and the third stage is known as maturation stage. Maturation phase, and the last phase, that is the fourth phase of the spermatogenesis, is differentiation phase. So these are the four different phases which are involved in the spermatogenesis process. So here the multiplication phase. So in the multiplication phase, these spermatogonial germ cells undergo mitotic cell division only, and they produces the primary spermatocytes. And that primary spermatocytes, so they grow in size. So they grow in size by the increasing in their cytoplasm content, and other changes occur during the growth phase in the primary spermatocyte. Then the primary spermatocytes during maturation phase, they undergo meiotic cell divisions to produce secondary spermatocytes, and from that secondary spermatocytes, so the differentiation phase, during differentiation phase, so the sperms are formed. So now we will discuss with these four phases in detail. So for that, the first I will draw that. So this is the spermatogonial mother cell. Spermatogonial mother cells, and the 2n is equals to 46 chromosomes are present in this spermatogonial mother cell, and this spermatogonial mother cell undergoes the mitotic cell division, so mitosis. As a result of this mitosis, so it produces two cells. And these are known as the primary spermatocytes. These are known as primary spermatocytes, and these primary spermatocytes are actually diploid cells, and in which the 2n is equals to 46, and this phase is known as multiplication phase. So from which the spermatogonial mother cells are undergo the mitotic cell division to produce primary spermatocyte. So this is the first phase, that is multiplication phase. Multiplication phase. And again, each primary spermatocytes they grow in size. They grow in size. So, and this is the growth phase, and these are known as secondary spermatocytes. These are also the primary spermatocytes, and just they grow the content of cytoplasm. As a result of that, the increase in size of the primary spermatocytes. So up to the primary spermatocyte, the cell condition is diploid. So you have to remember it is very clearly. Spermatogonial mother cells undergo the mitotic cell division. as a result of primary spermatocytes are formed, and here there is no division of the cell division takes place, do not takes place. So the same number of chromosomes are maintained, just the size of the cell increases. And the third phase is these cells undergo meiotic division. So here this meiotic cell division takes place. Meiotic cell division, and this process is known as maturation phase. So here, due to the meiotic cell division, the maturation phase, that phase is known as maturation phase. And here from each cells, 2 cells. So from a single spermatogonial mother cell, the 4, now these are due to meiotic division takes place here. Meiosis 1 and meiosis 2 takes place, and now these cells are known as spermatids. So the secondary spermatocytes undergo the meiotic division 1 and 2. As a result of that, the 4 spermatids are formed. And it is again important to note that from each spermatogonial mother cells, 4 spermatids are formed. And these spermatids are haploid. So that is N equals to 23 chromosomes are present in the spermatids. And from these spermatids, so here I will write that the next step. And from these 4 spermatids, the next phase is last phase, that is differentiation phase. So this phase is known as, from the spermatids, the differentiation process takes place. That means during this process some changes occur, that is the Golgi complex forms, the acrosome of the sperms, cytoplasm content increases, the nucleus get condensed inside the sperms. So these are the spermatids. And N equals to 23. And from this, they undergo the differentiation process by changing some changes, and here these are the sperms. From the spermatids, finally during the differentiation phase, the sperms are produced. And the formation of sperms from the spermatids is known as spermiogenesis. The entire process is known as spermatogenesis, but the differentiation of the sperms from the spermatids is known as spermiogenesis. And for this entire spermatogenesis, it takes 64 days. The entire process of the spermatogenesis completes in 64 days. So after the formation of these sperms, they detached from the Sertoli cells. So within the seminiferous tubules, this process takes place. And from that seminiferous tubules, the sperms, so which are also contain Sertoli cells, they detached from the Sertoli cells. And once they detached from the Sertoli cells, so then they stored in the epididymis, and the the proximal part of the vasa differentia. That is the first part of the vasa differentia. So they stored in these structures, epididymis and vasa differentia, up to 30 days. They stored in epididymis and vasa differentia up to 30 days. And during this period, when they stored in the epididymis and vasa differentia, they acquire motility. So actually the main characteristic of these plants is motility. And they acquire that motility, the capacity of the motility. So during when they stored in the epididymis and vasa differentia. So once they acquire the motility, so if the copulation takes place and they enters into the female reproductive tract. So this is about the spermatogenesis. So in the next class, we will discuss the structure of the sperm and how the hormones control the spermatogenesis.
¿De qué acá la no?